Here we are pulling into B-52 Park at Orlando International Airport. And we'll take a look at this old Buffosaurus Rex. Well, hello Glue Troopers. I am back from work and home for a while, so I thought I would talk about something that I did while I was at work. I had a little time off after Modelpalooza. Again, big shout out to everybody at Modelpalooza. It was great to bump into all those Glue Troopers. Well, it was still a beautiful day in Central Florida, so I went over to B-52 Park and took some pictures of the B-52D that is on display there. And I figured this would be a great time to get some close-up photos of the details, since I do have a B-52 project for the Vietnam build. Also, a chance to look at the Southeast Asia paint scheme up close. So, one of the things, and we'll be talking about this more at the live stream, and yes, I am planning a live stream Saturday night, 7 o'clock, 2300 Zulu, is that the B-52 is an incredibly complicated airplane. And there are a lot of details on it, probably more than you could actually put on even a large-scale model. But I figured, what the heck, let's go get some closer look at some of the cool stuff on it. Now, there are a lot of, this is a B-52D, which was one of the last of the tall tail models, and it's the one that had the actual tail gunner's position in the tail. And there are 2 believed to be confirmed and 3 unconfirmed kills over Vietnam of intercepting jet fighters with these tail turrets. We'll talk about them in more detail later, but I got some pictures of the steering actuators and the ECM antennas, the wingtip landing gear system, the landing lights, and it's kind of interesting how many unidentified little holes there are in the airplane and vents and things like that. Here we have some intakes or exhaust, I don't know which, on the engines. The engine pods are essentially kind of repeats of each other, 2 engines in each pod. And they have that funny grill up front, which I believe was an air intake for the accessory case. And they have the steering pistons. Remember, this had a crosswind gear on it. It could actually articulate the entire landing gear system because the wings drooped so low they couldn't drop a wing into the wind. They had to turn the whole airplane sideways to adjust for crosswind, which meant they had to be able to crank the landing gear over. And these steering pistons were part of that system. And the steering pistons are on opposite sides. On the starboard side, forward and rear gear, they're in front, and on the port side, front and rear gear, they're on the back. And just the way the system works. And of course, the gears had to retract at that odd angle and everything. It's a very interesting airplane. I don't know what most of these intakes or exhausts are for. Several NACA scoops on the airplane. Probably intakes for something like cooling generators or something like that. I would assume the exhaust for blowing out anything from bleed air to avionics cooling on the fuselage. But again, just guessing. This thing, of course, is packed full of electronics. But we'll go over it in more detail. I'm doing some research so I can speak with a little more clarity. I was wondering what these 2 little intakes and that little protrusion on the nose are. I haven't been able to find out, possibly for cooling the radar or avionics, and I'm guessing that little protrusion, I don't know, could be anything from an ice detector to some part of the radar system, maybe an antenna. And anyway, so this week I hope to get working on these 2 airliner kits I bought at Modelpalooza, and I want to get them. I think I built one Ladella kit, I don't recall, but I want to do another one. And this DC-8's a perfect one with the famous Linwood box art, where he has the DC-8 running on 2 engines. Because I want to talk about Ladella kits. From what I've seen so far, it just seems to be a straightforward repeat of a Revell kit. But I think the molds might be getting old because of all the flash that's on there. And anyway, I did do a Ladella video a while back, and a few years ago, so that's out there. Let's see if I can put a link below. And just got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. But I took a lot of photos of this B-50. I know this is just stream of consciousness, some kind of bag going back and forth, between different subject matter without saying I'm going to different subject matter. But anyway, we'll go over this B-52 in great detail. And if any of you guys are experts on the B-52, you can tell me what some of these things are. Well, guys, that's all for right now. Time to get more coffee, get this edited, and, well, just see where the day takes me. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on. As you can tell, this is the old tall tail model, and I have a kit model of one of these at the house I need to build, and now's an opportunity to get a look at some of the details. Of course, this is the Southeast Asia paint scheme. You've got the camouflage on top, black on bottom for night operations. Has a little bit of wing sag on it, as you would expect from a B-52. And of course, the landing gears are mounted up on small pylons, so it looks like it's sitting on the ground, but it's actually supported by its axles, not by its tires. People I know who have crewed or worked on the B-52 have said it's a very big airplane on the outside, but actually it's very tight on the inside. So we'll go get the history of this airplane and then look at some of the positions. Here we have two intakes in the nose with a small protrusion that appears to be an antenna, and we have the co-pilot's windshield wiper. Here we have the hatches on the belly, and I believe these are at least one of them is a door used to get in, and I also believe these are what blow out for the downward ejection. I know we have some B-52 guys in the community, so maybe you can give us some details. Behind that are a couple of rather significant antenna blades. And then we have the forward landing gear with what... Obviously this mesh has been put here just to keep animals and stuff out of the open landing gear bay. Here's the bomb bays. The aft bay is labeled Bay 2, then Bay 4, Bay 1, and the forward bay is labeled Bay 3. If ever there was a symbol of the Cold War, that'd be it.